I would like to just start with asking each of you to briefly introduce themselves and who you are, since we're not too many, so we can use the opportunity to just know each other better, and tell me where you're connecting from and what you think leadership is for you. And Zaina, how are you? What energy? Yeah. So I will start with Caroline. Caroline, are you?
Yes, sure. Hi. Hi, Nabou. Hi, Nadia. How are you, ladies? So my name is Caroline. I'm Syrian. I am based in Marseille, in France. I'm co-founding a startup, which is a consultant on demand. It's a platform. We do matchmaking between businesses and consultants. And I'm so excited to be here today. This is my first session with you guys.
Oh, awesome. Welcome, Caroline. Nice.
Thank you.
What is leadership for you?
For me, it's always, leading by example and, practicing what we preach all the time, because I find so much discrepancy between the narrative and the talks and the lecturing and the reality of the action. So bridging this gap between the narrative and the reality of things.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Caroline.
Thank you, Nabou.
Hello, Setebe, how are you?
Setebe Manake. I run a platform called Go Smart Value. It's an automated property valuation platform, and I'm joining from Botswana. Leadership is being able to see far ahead and still being grounded enough to guide anybody who's still behind.
Thank you. That's a nice, beautiful definition too. Zaina, are you back with us?
Me présenter, écoutez, si vous voulez bien, translate. Donc, je suis commerciale, je travaille pour Vizeo. On est en France, on a une filiale aussi en Afrique, on est sur le l'ERP SAP. Et en parallèle, je développe aussi une plateforme de RH, de recrutement chasseur de tête pour les jeunes et étudiants diplômés en Afrique francophone. Donc, on va essayer d'être un petit peu utile sur le continent. Donc, ça verra le jour dans quelques semaines. Yeah. Mais bon, vu comme je suis douée pour Zoom, ça promet. Hein. Avec moi, tout le monde sera embauché. C'est bon, c'est bon, c'est bon.
Et c'est quoi le leadership pour toi, Zaina?
Pour moi, le leadership, c'est quelqu'un qui fait autorité, tu vois, rien qu'en rentrant dans une pièce. Tu vois, c'est un peu ça. Pour moi, c'est quelqu'un qui est déjà charismatique. Il n'y a pas des règles, rules en anglais, je tiens à préciser. Tu vois? Il n'y a pas de règles.
To translate. Nadia, you're...
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I have this duty. Yeah, thanks, I will.
Donc, c'est vraiment quelqu'un, tu vois, je prends Obama. Obama, il dira n'importe quoi. Il dégage quelque chose qui fait que déjà, il a le lead. Tu vois, on l'écoute.
Le charisme, en fait.
Charisme, complètement le charisme. Comme là, vous êtes tout en train de m'écouter, tu vois. Je raconte pas quelque chose d'hyper intéressant, mais vous êtes là en train de m'écouter. Vous dites, waouh, qu'est-ce qu'elle raconte et tout.
Voilà. So I'll translate what Zaina said. See, because now I have a fantastic task. So thanks. So Zaina is based in Paris. She's Moroccan and she's actually our ambassador of Business Club Africa in Paris. She's a sales manager for Vizeo. It's a company based in France and in West Africa for the ERP SAP, the well-known one. And she's a very engaged and communicative person, as you may have seen. So I'll add some add-ons from the translation. And so for her, and she's also now launching a new HR or like headhunting platform for students and young people in Francophone Africa that will be launched in a few weeks. So stay tuned, and maybe Caroline, there's something also, a link between Zaina and yourself. That's it. So about leadership, for Zaina, leadership is basically when you enter a room and people will just, because of your charisma, people will just stop doing anything else and start listening to you. And she gave the example of Obama, and herself right now, because we're all listening carefully to what she was saying. And she actually, see, you're smiling already. So she tells she doesn't speak English and doesn't understand English, but look at her, she does. So thank you very much, Zaina. So great. So yeah, Nabou, I let you get back.
Thank you so much, Zaina. Abdulaziz is next. He just connected his microphone. So Abdulaziz, tell us who you are and what is leadership for you?
Microphone. This is actually the first time I ever used Zoom. So.
Oh, were you on before? Everybody has used Zoom. Are you from another planet?
No, just the fact that during the confinement I was actually forced to work at the office. I used to work for UNESCO in the United Nations.
Okay.
Since then, I was a consultant back then. Now I have my own company in strategy consulting. Now I'm working with a partner of yours. I think you might know the Land of African Business.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Eric Bazin. Yeah.
Yes, he's a collaborator of mine. We've been working together, and I come here from him. He was the one that sent me, and I'm honored to be among you. Ladies, I really love the initiative that you are making to work on leadership and to make the world a better place with whatever enterprises that you might be working with. To answer your question on what I think leadership is, I think it's someone that in whatever means they use, whether it be charisma, whether it be money, whether it be even strategy, uses their ability to unify people in order to achieve a goal that they have in mind. I think that's leadership. And I hope that answers the question. I don't know if I answered all your questions, but please don't hesitate to ask any if you have any.
Thank you, Abdulaziz. The answer is fine for you. By the way, my son's name is also Abdulaziz. Anyway.
Such an honor.
So thank you so much. I don't know who is here and who is not here, since I cannot see faces, but who would like to be next before we start? And then maybe we'll ask the others to write in the chat their name, what they do, and say what leadership. I see my dear friend from, Jihan. Jihan is willing to take the mic.
Yes, hi everyone.
Hi, Jihan.
Sorry, I think that's my that's for me because I came late, so I'm paying my due by speaking now. Apologies for that. So my name is Jihan Gatti. I'm in Dubai. I'm calling you from Dubai right now, and I deal with executive coaching and leadership coaching in times of uncertainty and challenging times. So building resilience. I haven't done this for a long time. It's been 2-3 years. Before that, I was working in my country, in Tunisia, and then in South Africa in corporate. So that's what you know about me right now. And I hope we'll interact even more so that I'm keeping the curiosity flowing so that we can connect further in another time.
Thank you so much, Vivienne. And what is leadership for you?
So leadership, and I love, it's not word by word, but it's saying just managers will manage through certainty. So with a clear framework. Leadership is when you lead people through uncertainty. So when things are not going well, when you don't know, when you can say, I actually don't know, I'm leading you. I'm not sure where we'll be going, whether we'll be successful or not. And they still make people follow them and go with them. That's what leadership is for me. So it's leading through uncertainty. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jihan, for that exciting definition. Good morning. Thank you so much for sharing. The others who are willing to share, please feel free to share your names and what you do in the chat so that we can interact and connect with each other. It is very important. And also, eventually, you can even share your LinkedIn page. So I'm going to start with something. You know, I believe that the world is a bird with only one wing. Why do I say that? Because we have been going through times, and most of the figures of leadership as authority and even leadership as a posture is always portrayed as a man. That's why we talk about, I don't really believe that there is leadership is female or male. I think leadership as a whole is a concept that is valid for men and women. But there are, of course, according to studies and to myself, some attributes of leadership that are purely feminine. So the one-winged bird doesn't allow the world to really be fully operational. Why do I say that? Because we have seen that no matter what, how many leaders do we have? Leaders as in authority, because leadership is two things. You have authority and posture. How many women's leaders do we have in the world? Less than 1% maybe. So it is very important that we understand the concept, because a woman can enact as a leader, not only as having an authority of leadership, a position of leadership, but also having a posture of leadership. And this is very important that as such we understand the leadership, what leadership is. All the definitions that you have been given are very valid, and I will complete with my own, which is, for me, leadership is the capacity to inspire, influence, and impact positively with the aim of federate around an objective or a goal or an idea. That is what, for me, leadership is, but it's also leading by example, as Caroline said, and it's also federating around a goal, Abdulaziz said. So leadership is all the things that you have said, but beyond everything, leadership is a set of competencies that we can develop as people. First, communication, influence, responsibility, motivation, ethic, decision, vision, teamwork. Management is a leadership skill. Mentoring and be able to influence is a leadership skill. So how do we define the kind of leadership that we need or that we must develop as a woman or as a man? We have a man, so I don't want to discriminate, even though it's about women leadership. We first have to make sure that we define our context of leadership. And what do I call context of leadership? There are three types of leadership. Leadership of self, how do I lead myself? And of course, if I cannot lead myself, there's very little chance that I can lead others. Lead people, leading other people, guide them towards a common goal or objectives. And leading an organization towards accomplishment of its targets and objectives. So it's very important that we sit and tell ourselves now where I stand today, in what context of leadership do I belong to? So I will invite you and ask you to just type in the chat where you stand now. What kind of leadership position, posture do you think you are in right now? Do you need to lead yourself at that position? Because sometimes we are meant to lead people, but we have not started with leading ourselves and leading our own issues and leading our own challenges. And I really believe that leadership starts by myself, by the self and the development of the self. And that leadership is more a posture than a position. I really insist on that, because we tend to think that, he's a leader because he's a director. You can have a director that is not a leader, and you can have someone that is merely the fourth category of the company, but who is an informal leader within the company. So it is very important that when I talk about leadership, I talk about how we can develop a set of skills that will allow us to be leaders, whether informal leaders or authority leaders or different types of leadership that we can exercise. So please feel free to share with us the kind of leadership that the posture, the context of leadership that you're in right now. I assume for entrepreneurs, especially for people developing platforms, it's almost often the self-leadership position that you have to work on, because you have to make sure that you are ready, you lead yourself, leading self. Yeah, Caroline, I see. Nabila, oh, hello, Nabila. I lead people, try to lead an organization, and need to lead myself. I love that. Thank you, Nabila, for that. I think it talks to all of us. Thank you. Please feel free to share within the chat so that we can all. So I will start with self-leadership. What are the competencies I need for self-leadership? And I'm going to tell you things that maybe you're not expect me to tell you. Because I believe that once I know how to lead myself, then I can lead the rest of the world. I can even conquer the world. So I believe the first thing as a woman that we need, and excuse me, Abdulaziz, but I'm going to say as a woman, because we women, we have a tendency to take care of everyone, to care for everybody, to mind about everybody's issues, to make sure that we find solutions for people, but we don't take time for ourselves and we don't take care of ourselves. So the first way in order to lead yourself accordingly, competency that you have to develop is time for self first. And you don't have to be doing something all the time. You don't have to be saying yes all the time. You don't have to be solving everybody's issues all the time. And take care of yourself. Remember the mask, the oxygen mask. When you enter the plane, even if you're a mother, they always tell you put your mask, oxygen mask on you first. And I repeat myself all the time because that is one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou saying, you cannot pour from an empty cup. We need to make sure that we're full and filled before we can give to others. So this is a very important point that I give to women. Take time to restore, find your routine, take care of yourself, take some time off. Yes, we're allowed to do that. Learn to say no. We're also allowed to say no. It's very important. Another competency of self-leadership would be to be aspiration-oriented and goal-oriented. What do you want to achieve for yourself as a person? What do you want? Where are you going? Do you have a clear vision of your path, where your path is taking you to? It's very important to have that goal orientation, that vision, that aspiration that will lead you through the leadership of self. The other thing is that, what are your values? Make sure that you have a strong value system. I always say that my values are my roots, and my values personally are integrity, authenticity, and generosity. And I really want you to share with us also in the chat what your values are. What are your 2-3 values? Oh, yes, lead people. Okay, Sepebe, you said lead people. Very important. What are your main values? What are the values that make you wake up in the morning? What are the values that motivate you? What are the values that you take your energy from and your strength from, and that you try to align with on a daily basis in everything you do? It's very important. Your values would allow you to align with yourself, will allow you to align with your environment. Even though I always say that as human beings, we cannot be compliant to our values 100%. We are not perfect, we're just humans. But at least let's try to do as much as we can to be in alignment with our values. Every time when we set a certain number of values and we focus on them and we try and see, am I in alignment with my values? These are the questions that we need to ask to ourselves. Am I in alignment with my values when I do that? Am I in alignment with my purpose? Purpose is very important too. Competency of self-leadership is having a clear purpose. What is your purpose? Your overall purpose, what is it? Have you defined your purpose, or are you in the reflection of trying to define your purpose? Because of course, a purpose is not something that is fixed, but it's something that can evolve, that can change. Your purpose of today can be evolve and be another purpose tomorrow. But it's very important to go into that reflection, and I invite you to make that purpose reflection, and we will discuss it in the second part of the webinar. Accountability matters. Accountable to yourself. When you say that you're going to do something for yourself, make sure you do it. Self-leadership is about self. Accountability with yourself, and make sure that you do as you say towards others that you work with. If I say that, we are not always accountable to ourselves. And I said it earlier, we're not perfect beings, but let's try as much as we can to comply to our engagements toward ourselves. But those engagements should not exhaust us. So if we see that something is going to exhaust us and take up too much of our energy, we need to step back and put ourselves in priority. Self-care is the base. Autonomy and proactivity matters as self-leadership. We cannot wait for people to take decisions for ourselves. As women, everybody has an opinion in the world on how we should be dressed, what we should be saying, what we should be doing, everybody, but we need to be proactive and autonomous and show that we don't need anyone to lead us. We can lead ourselves accordingly. Curiosity matters. And I had a discussion with a group of ladies I was coaching 2-3 weeks ago from a very big company. And one of the ladies was telling me, I noticed that I'm not curious. I don't engage in conversations that are not topics that I don't master. I said, man, it's very important to be curious. Put yourself and involve yourself in conversations to step up. Even if you don't know the topic, if you're not familiar with the topic, investigate, be curious, not to be an expert, but to just be present and to be part of a conversation. Curiosity matters a lot. Optimistic. It's very important to be optimistic. If you see the world through a negative lens, it's going to be very difficult for you to even wake up in the morning, because every day that we live, we can always find a reason not to get out of our bed. No, I'm tired, I haven't slept enough, I haven't done that. There's always a reason. But if we're optimistic and set ourselves through a prism of positivity, we are always eager to go get up and discover what is out there for us in the world. Self-confidence is important. And I know this is a challenge for many of us. And as I say, self-confidence is not a destination, it's a process. And it happens that at times, some things affect our confidence. We need to make sure that we have a toolkit to always rebuild our confidence. Rebuild our confidence when we are weak in confidence and self-confidence. And it happens. You know, people that you see that are apparently confident, they're just apparently confident. Every one of us has a strike of lack of self-confidence within them at some point. And events can affect our self-confidence. Remembrance of the past can affect our self-confidence, some traumas, etc. So we need to make sure that we have a toolbox to rebuild our self-confidence. And I will get back to that if we have a little bit of time. Self-awareness and self-empathy. I told you about taking care of yourself, but have empathy for yourself. We have no empathy for ourselves. No empathy whatsoever for ourselves. We don't forgive ourselves. We have empathy for the world. We have forgiveness for everybody, but we don't forgive ourselves for our own mistakes. We need to have more self-empathy and be more aware of our emotion and what we feel. Let's be open to feedback. Feedback is very important. And the thing is that as women, it's very important, especially in the MENA space, Middle East and Africa and Arab world, women were raised to be perfect beings. And when I say perfect being, we're raised to be perfect wives first. We're raised to be perfect daughters. We're raised to be perfect mothers. So that stigma of perfection that we carry throughout life is something that sometimes make us resent feedback as an aggression. We feel attacked. Whilst that feedback is just something that can help us grow. So we need to embrace feedback as an opportunity to grow. And this is part of our self-leadership. Adaptability change, I think I don't have anything to say about that, because the world in the last 2 years have been affected by a new virus that is called agility. I'm not even talking about COVID. I'm talking about we are agile by force. We have become agile by force. We have had to adapt. And it was really what we went through is adapt or die. So I think we all have that ability to get out of our comfort zone. But we were forced out of our comfort zone. And we realized that this is a capacity, a competency that we have to nurture and develop. Communication is important. Some people are extremely brilliant. Some women are extremely brilliant. They do amazing things. And I meet so many of them every day. Women who build factories, who do incredible things. But the minute they have to communicate their needs or they have to express themselves in front of people, they just become mute, say no. They don't want to talk. They think they cannot do it. And when I ask them why, because they're afraid of judgment. We should free ourselves. We should work on freeing ourselves from judgment of others. So these are a few tips about self-competencies that we are to share with you. I'm going to go through the competencies, other competencies of leadership people. To lead people, you have to make sure that you listen, you allow feedback, you give feedback. Always keep an open mind with a problem-solving mind. And you have to be motivated in order to motivate when you're on a leadership towards when you lead people. I'm just going to take a small the results of a study that was made by McKinsey, Women Matter Africa in 2016. It was said that it's only 5% CEOs, only 23% women in executive committees, only 14% women at board levels. But when you go to middle management, you have 40% women and 29% in senior management, which means that middle management is where we have to really, if you are in a position of leading people, leading with women, middle management is really where we have to give women the tools in order for them to see themselves at a bigger position. And this starts with themselves, working on their own insecurities. In the leadership of authority, what are the challenges? First challenges are differences of gender are under-evaluated. Today, it's not about becoming men or trying to be like men. It's about making sure that we are in an inclusive space where our particularities, our unicity as women are taken into account. And when, for example, we have creche, how do you say creche, Nadia? I'm lost. For
kindergarten.
Kindergarten for kids. Creche is more, not really.
Yeah, pre-kindergarten. I don't know how you say it in English.
Yeah, daycare, sorry.
Daycare, thank you. Yeah.
Daycare for women. We need to make sure that leadership today for women is about creating an inclusive space where equity is valued, equity of gender, where we have the same opportunities. The differences of gender are also over-evaluated, and it leads to saying, oh, women cannot do that. Women should not be doing that. Who said that? Another challenge that we face is that men have a space where they meet, when boys clubs, and that solidarity that boys have the opportunity to create and build in their networks. They have all those women networks, men networks, and women lack networks. So Business Club Africa is important because it's a network. Last time I was telling Nadia that, okay, I will be in Dubai, I'm going to Morocco. Or she said, okay, I have someone from the club that I can introduce you to. I said, okay, if I'm coming, I have to go to Dubai, we have an event. Okay, someone. So networks are important. Business Club Africa is doing an amazing work because it's bridging the gaps and putting us together. I don't know any of you apart from Nadia and the two Nadias from Egypt and Nadia, but today we know each other because we're part of a network for Business Club Africa. So it's very important. It's not just about network, it's about also leveraging the network. Men will write to you easily and tell you, I need this. Women will not write. They will think, why should I write? No, leverage. A network is meant to be leveraged. We are challenged by also unconscious biases. This year, the theme of International Women's Day was break the biases. Gender biases are present. And we have our own biases, and we see the world through our biases. Biases stem within us through our educations, that a woman shouldn't do that. A good woman is a woman like that. We tend to judge people through the prism of our education. A woman can be accomplished without being married or having children, but the biases of our education tells us the contrary. But who said that? It's patriarchy. Sorry, Abdulaziz. So we have the right to be happy however we feel we are fulfilled and happy as a person. And I'm not saying that if happiness comes through, you have to be happy with yourself. And this is where self-leadership matters, before you can be happy with anyone else. The imposter syndrome is a real challenge. No matter how we have succeeded, whatever we have achieved, it always happens. There's always a time when we sit and we wonder if we have really accomplished what we have accomplished. And according to the studies of Pauline Imes and Clance, the ladies who wrote about the imposter syndrome, a very interesting book to read, 70% of the population suffers from imposter syndrome, and even worse, women. Women tend to say that they are at the position because they were at the right time, at the right place. They never put it on their competencies. If you're where you are, it's because you deserve it. It's because you made it and because you're able and you have the capacities. And another thing that stops us from really achieving our leadership and exercising our leadership is perfectionism. We always want things perfect. And people think that perfectionism is quality. No, it's not. It's something that stops us. We always want to have 200% of the data before we do something. We don't need to know everything to do something. We don't even need to have all the competencies to be hired for a job or to apply for a job, because we learn by doing. And there are studies that have shown that men, when they have 30% of the competencies, they're not afraid to apply. But women, they want to have 150 to 200% of the competencies before they hire to a position. So you cannot put that burden on you. We cannot wait for things to become perfect human beings. Perfection is not human. And I love saying that. And I repeat it every day because I'm also a perfectionist. And I need to have that for myself. I need to repeat that all the time, that perfectionism is not a quality. Perfectionism is something that will stop us, that stops us. I'm going to say something else that you're going to hate. Women leadership doesn't exist. There are feminine expressions of leadership, because leadership is leadership. I'm not going to discriminate leadership. And among the studies that have been done, I think, as from Price Waterhouse, I think, or one big firm, the leadership of women are more transformative, more participative, more democratic, task-oriented, more collaborative, and situational, in fact. But we are always, women, when they exercise their leadership, more towards human, towards listening to others. We tend to be more democratic and participative. But let's make sure that in that exercise of leadership, we don't lose sight that we are the leader in the team. It's very important. If there's authority or if there's an informal leadership, we always need to make sure that in the way we express that leadership, we keep the leads. And we don't lose the lead just because we are exercising that collaborative and transformative leadership. What are the benefits of having women leaders within an organization or developing women's leadership? Women are more open to new ideas and different perspectives because, of course, our perspectives must be valued, the diversity, but we will always give the floor to a younger person. We will always give the floor to people from different expertise in order to have more perspectives that will enrich our point of view. Women collaborate and cooperate better because we take care of everyone. We're more inclusive in the way we exercise leadership. Women are more fair and ethical. We work harder. I'm not saying that is McKinsey said it, oh, Abdulaziz, please, it's not me. Women are more resilient and more persistent, and women sponsor and mentor much more. So when you give the floor to women and you empower women leadership, you get more benefits for your organization. How do you dare and take the lead and dare being a woman leader? dare to apply, dare to respond to if you are a business owner or if you are an executive, apply to the next position, apply to new position. Don't be afraid to apply. Don't be afraid to respond to a tender. Make sure that you're part of a group or affiliation or association or a club. I'm not saying that that presentation was done, Nadia didn't know about it, so I'm not doing the advertisement of Business Club Africa, but I'm just saying it's important. Let's mentor and sponsor each other's. We don't need to have formal mentors, but we just need to be able that, okay, I need an advice. I must be able to call Nadia, Rabbit or Shifai and say, Nadia, okay, there's this thing. What do you guys think? Do you have an idea? What do you think about that idea? This is informal mentorship. Sponsor. Okay, Nadia, I need an introduction with so-and-so business because I think there's an opportunity there for my company. Can you make the link? What can you do for me? Let's open the door for each other. And the last thing is train yourself. Never stop training yourself. We're here, it's a training session, but it is very important that there's so many new concepts coming up every day. Sometimes you sit in a conversation, if you don't read, if you don't listen, if you're not open-minded, you will sit with some people and even though they speak your language, you feel like they come from another planet. And today we talk about NFT, Web3, Metaverse, Bitcoins, Ethereum. It's not about becoming expert, but we need to know what it is. We're part of this world. And AI, we cannot say, no, I don't want to know this, I'm not interested. It's part of us. It's like saying that I'm not going to know about social media. I may not be interested, but I need to know what it is. So according to KPMG 2019 report, Advancing Women in Business, the leadership that women exercise more, 49% is authentic leadership. 24% transformative leadership, and 27% democratic leadership. 0% transactional leadership, 0%. We don't do transactional leadership, it's not women-like. And 0% laissez-faire. Laissez-faire leadership is like where you let people be. We still need to have a bit of control. So we may not be a woman leadership, but there are leadership styles that are proper to women. Those three styles are more their style. It's not only about you being a leader, dare also to empower leadership of women. Hire women, create and favor opportunities of networking among women. Be a mentor and a sponsor, and create yourself opportunities of education and coaching, whatever field you're into. It's very important. We need to walk the talk. We cannot just be saying that, okay, I want to be a leader, whatever. No, we need to walk the talk. It's very important. So I'm just going to add you. We don't have a long session, but I'm going to ask you one thing. What would you do if you were not afraid? I just want you to take 1 minute to think about that. What would you do if you were not afraid? What would you do if you're not afraid? I know it's a terrible question. Maybe I would be a salsa dancer in La Havana. I'm just joking, but maybe a singer, I don't know. So it's very important that you put that question in your heart and challenge yourself. And I want you to know that leadership starts by knowledge of self. Everything starts by knowing yourself. So make sure that you test yourself. Personality tests exist, so many tests. You can have a coach that can help you through that. Make sure you test yourself. Develop your self-confidence. Know your strengths. How to develop your self-confidence is to know your strengths. What are your strengths? Own them. Own your strength. We don't have weaknesses only. Weaknesses we have, of course, but we need to leverage on your strengths because we cannot be perfect. So it's very important that you accept your limits, own your strengths, own your achievements. It's very important. Celebrate your successes, compliment yourself. Very important. And have a posture, physical posture of a leader. The way you carry yourself matters. And Zaina said it very clearly. She said, for me, a leader is someone when he enters the room, he just has charisma. Charisma matters. Charisma is nothing less than the way you talk, the way you look at people, the way you carry yourself. And as a woman, make sure that you balance your different roles, because we are so many things to so many people. You're a good friend to some person, you're a mother to a person, you're your sister to someone else, you're your mother's daughter. So we need to find within all those places, all those roles, we need to find a space for ourselves as a person. And there's a very good tool, the Wheel of Life, that is very interesting, that you can use. And the Wheel of Life, you can question yourself on the different areas of your life, from 0 to 10. How much do you put, and where should you make more efforts? I invite you also to have a vision board. It's very interesting to have a vision board and to build a vision board on where you want to be. Don't be afraid to tell the world who you are, because as John Maxwell said, leadership is influence. Leadership is influence. If you don't tell people who you are, if you don't tell them what you can do, then they will not know that they need you. So make sure that you go out there, tell people who you are, develop your brand, tell your story, and own it in a way that, because you don't know who you will inspire with your story. You don't know who will be inspired and which community you can build to your story. I could go on and on. There's so many things to say, but I'm going to stop here and ask you to, whatever questions you have, or let's discuss. And remember that leadership, before everything, is not a position, but it's a posture. And that posture is about yourself first and the others after. Thank you. I could go on and on. I talk so much, so if I don't stop.
No, thank you so much, Nabou. It was amazing. So yeah, really. I wrote a lot of things. I'm sorry. So yeah, took a lot of notes. So thank you so much, Nabou. As Nabou was saying, so if you have questions, just raise your hand and Nabou will answer them.
Yeah, and I mean, I want just
or a debate,
a conversation mode, yeah, and ask you how do you take care of yourself? How do you empathize with yourself? Nadia? Yeah, Nadia, my sister, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
I miss you. Wow, long time.
Yeah, but you don't ask about me at all.
I do.
Really?
I wanted to surprise you and come to Cairo.
Yeah, this will be wonderful. I don't want to waste the time of my colleagues, but actually we as an entrepreneur, and I may take my experience, I have a tough time handling business, working with top multinational companies, which is the highest standard of quality. Yet I cannot forget myself, because what you don't have it, you cannot give it. So if I don't have peace of mind, if I don't have the self-content, if I don't have the relaxing mood, I cannot persuade and I cannot, transfer it. And we in pharma, we use motivation. So we always say motivation is an infection, like the disease.
I love it. Thank you so much, Nadia.
Thank you.
Beautiful sharing. I would love to have someone else, Caroline or Jihen.
I can go, because it's amazing, because I had a discussion with other, and I love what you said, to have the space for the network. So I had a face-to-face, and my intention for the week after that discussion was to give more love to myself.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I love how this links together, because what I noticed is, even if we have some practices, like walking, or I noticed that I will beat myself sometimes for why did I do this, where I know better, why that. And the nice thing that I got, and maybe this will serve someone else, I imagine myself, so I had a picture of myself when I was like 7 or 6. And whatever I'm telling to myself, Shihan, you shouldn't have been doing this. I'm like, am I saying this to that like small little girl of 6 years? I can't be so awful to tell her that. And that's how I really switch. So it's just envisioning myself like the little girl. And then it's not easy then to say all the tough things that we actually say to ourselves if we listen to that little voice in the mind. So that's one of the tricks that I use.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it too. That's an awesome trick. Anyone want to go? Caroline, maybe Zaina? Nabila? Setebe? Guys, feel free to take the mic so that we can learn from each other. Setebe, yeah, go ahead.
I think my scenario is a little bit different. I give myself a lot of love. But sometimes I have to give it to myself simply because I'll just give you a bit of context. So I also sit as the president of the Real Estate Institute of Botswana. And generally, it being an institute of real estate, it is male dominated. And they're not easy to manage, to lead, to talk to in any manner or form. So oftentimes it is when things are tough that I force the personal time, because it's only my own love that will move me forward. I'm not expecting any kind of encouragement coming from them, any nurturing coming from them. But eventually when things settle down, it makes it much easier because I always appear to have a level mind simply because I literally log out when there's trouble with everybody and then come back and say my view after all of the madness.
Awesome. I love what you said. My own love will move me forward. That was very powerful. Thank you, Sidevi. Very, very powerful and very, very enriching. Caroline, you want to share something with us?
Yeah, maybe, it was interesting to listen to this because I feel like most of the time I forgot about it and I always have other priorities to do and, things to, deadline to meet or things to achieve on time. So it doesn't come as priority at all, until I collapse. So yeah. So it was a good reminder that I should work on it much more.
Yeah, because usually when I talk about leadership, people expect me to come with power. No, it's about yourself first. It's about you. And once you are in alignment and you take care of yourself, then you'll be able to conquer the world. You really have to make an engagement and promise yourself that you will take care of yourself at some point. You will even put one thing that you can do on a daily or weekly basis just for you. Even not doing anything, just lying on your bed and just saying, okay, I'm not going to do anything today. I'm just going to, because I don't know if you live that, but I'm experiencing that all the time. We're always working now. We have our own emergencies, but some people will come and bring you their own other people's emergencies. And since we are used to saying yes to everyone, women love to say yes. We don't want to displease people because we were raised to please. Women are the ones looking in the mirror, looking pretty. We always want to please. That pleasing culture has transferred to our professional environment. And we unconsciously, anytime someone asks us something, we just want to make sure that we please that person at our detriment. It's detrimental to us. So a client wrote to me the other day that he wants a proposal. And I wrote to him yesterday, I said, no, you're not my proposal, because I had my own priorities. When I finish with my priorities, then I will take care of you. So he was like, oh, okay, because people think that you always have to say yes, and then you kill yourself. So you need to make sure that you are in a safe space, you create that safe space for yourself. Because we are so busy, all of us, everybody's busy. I don't know how did it happen, but the last 3 years, everybody's busy. We were not like that before. And I think everybody has noticed that too. Life was not like that before. And I think of my parents and I say, God, our parents had weekends. They were meeting other people. They didn't have mobile phones, but they were living. They were enjoying life. They sat with friends and had lunches on weekends and lived life. And life is for the living. And we need to also live that life, Zaina, tu veux partager quelque chose? Micro, tu es sur mute. You're on mute, Zaina. Zaina, you're still on mute. Tu es toujours sur mute. Zaina, Deborah, maybe Deborah wants to share something.
C'est bon?
Oui,
Ouais.
Okay.
Je dirais, Nabou, qu'il faut toujours se choisir soi-même, dans tous les cas. Si tu as un rêve, une ambition, toujours toi d'abord. Et quand tu te choisis toi, tu peux apporter le meilleur déjà pour toi et tu vas chercher un peu partout quel est le meilleur pour toi. Le meilleur pour toi pour être ce que tu as envie de devenir. Parce qu'on a tous à un moment un flash en disant « Oh ouais, j'aimerais bien être ça, je me vois comme ça, je me vois comme ça. » Ok, va vers cette vision et fais en sorte d'y arriver tout simplement. Tu vois, on a toutes des rêves, on a envie d'être chef d'entreprise, que son entreprise fonctionne, etc. Mais comment tu te projettes? Quel est ton flash? Et va vers ce rêve. Tu vois, va vers ce rêve, va vers et voilà. Et en étant effectivement extrêmement positive, parce qu'on a toutes des obstacles sur son chemin, mais en étant positif, tu dégages du positif. Et là, j'ai envie de dire, t'écrases tout, quoi. Tu y vas, tu fonces, tu trouves un super club comme le Business Club Africa, tu trouves des super mentors comme Nabou, tu trouves un peu tout ça et tu déroules et tu fais ton truc et tu fais ton job et tu vas vers ton rêve. Il n'y a pas de raison que ton rêve ne fonctionne pas.
Absolument. Wow. Nadia, translate, please. My brain is not...
Il y a un copyright, il y a un copyright.
For the copyright, you need to say it in English, my dear. In French, it's not copyright.
No, I can't.
No, you can. I'm sure you can. You just don't. As you said, this is a dream for you for, speaking English well.
Oui, ça c'est vrai.
Voilà.
Oui.
So,
tu as lu en moi là.
Voilà. Apply. So, in a nutshell, Zaina was saying that it's really important to always choose yourself first. It's like, like Zaina first, Nabou first, Jihen first. I won't quote the guy who said that at the very first time. I won't quote him, but okay. And the aim is to really get the best out of yourself and to really have your dream and your goals set and just follow your dreams. You will always find obstacles, but you can always live your dream. And if you're also, second point is if you're positive, yourself, you will always have a positive aura or a positive outreach that will also help others around you. I hope I translated somehow what you just said. Yeah,
perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
That was very enriching. Thank you so much. Olaide, I think you wanted to speak. Olaide Shakirat.
Yeah, hello everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm new here. It's my first time joining your Zoom, and I haven't presented myself before. I'm a Francophone student in Ghana, and my brother sent me the link to join the Zoom, but I haven't followed since the beginning. I'm now following, and I really appreciate the fact that you said if you have some strength, like we should think about something we'll do when we have some strength. And I really have a problem in talking in public. And I think I'll work on that. You really, when you said it, it touched me. I was like, okay, I have to work on that thing. So if I could join your Zoom next time and be following you guys, that would be very better for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Olaide. Thank you for sharing, because it quite happens. In fact, we think that we're afraid of doing things, but it's deeper than that. It comes from our history, from our personal story, from the frustration that we have built, and from some sentences that we may have heard during our education when we were children. And, we so want to be perfect that we'd rather not step up than make a mistake. We just want to appear as the perfect person. And this is really weighing us down in becoming who we want to be and being ourselves. Deborah, do you want to share something with us? Maha, Deborah. Thank you, Olaide. Deborah?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Hello, Nabou. Hello, Nadia. I'm very pleased to attend this training from Nabou. Thank you, Nabou. So, Nabou, really thank you for this very instructive. When you say that we need to be self-confident, you're right. And we also need to leverage the network. For example, you are talking about the business club. Due to Nadia, thanks to Nadia, last week I met Tanya from Senegal. So Tanya was traveling, I'm currently in Cotonou. And she was traveling to Cotonou for, I think, 28 hours. She said, I was also busy, but we found, yes, I said, don't worry, I will come at the hotel, we will take a breakfast together. We spent just 40 minutes together, but it was very fantastic. And I agree with you, we need to leverage the network. Men are doing that. Why women cannot do that? They are always shy, saying that we cannot. And I really love one of Nabou posts at the beginning of the year. Nabou, are we saying in French, and maybe Nadia and you will translate it? Nabou, your link say, oser briller.
Yes.
Yes, and if si les gens ne sont pas, voilà, si ça leur fait peur, give them sunglasses. So, exactly. Yes, I really love this idea. Because every time we don't want to do things saying that how people will think about what you are doing. And I think that we dare, we must do the things, not thinking about what these people will think about. We need to be ourselves, authentic. And really, thank you, Nabou, and thank you, Nadia, for the training.
For that testimony, for sharing. Yes, I believe so. We need to dare to shine.
Yes.
Because we are always shrinking ourselves in the spaces. We're always diminishing ourselves when we need to shine and own our space in order to show up, which is, bye, Nadia. Nabila, you can take the mic. Nabila, you have the mic.
Yes, hello.
Hello, Nabila.
Yes, hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm not an English speaker, so I will do my best. I wanted to talk about something you just said when you were talking. You talked about you were asking a question, what would you do if you were not afraid?
Yes.
So I found, actually someone asked me that question a year ago. I was really wondering what I would do professionally, etc. And I found that question so deep. Actually, like 1 month later, I was quitting my job and opening my company. And even if I didn't do everything I would do if I were not afraid, I found that question so important. And it's not necessarily something we think about. It at least gave me the courage to face everything I wanted to do. So I didn't do everything, but I had the courage to do at least one thing. A few years ago, I didn't even dare thinking what I could do, what I wanted to do. I was just following the path my parents set for me. So I just wanted to thank you for that question. And thank you for all the questions you just shared with us. And I think it's very enriching sharing, I don't know. Un partage très enrichissant. And really, thank you for everything.
You're welcome. Thank you, Nabila. Thank you for being here. And thank you for your testimony. It's very important to realize that question is so powerful. And Jihan is a coach, so she knows that coaching is about asking the powerful questions, and you can self-coach yourself and ask yourself some very powerful questions. what do I really want? Am I happy where I am right now? Or what would make me happy? And really ask yourself the questions that will defy your status quo, defy your current state of being, of life. And there's nothing worse than living can happen to you. You know, you just have one life. If you want to move to Amazonia and go around, I mean, it's your right, it's your call. That's what you want to do for yourself. You know, we don't have the same aspirations and same goal. And I would say that success doesn't look like what everybody thinks success is. Success is personal. Everyone has his own idea of success. Some people think it's stacking a lot of money. I have a very good friend, he's a billionaire. And I feel so sorry for him. And people are so, oh, but you know him. Oh, your friend, he has private jet. But he's the most unhappy person I know in life. When I go to his house, he's just alone. And he eats alone. He always looks like, and he's always chasing more money. He builds factories. He builds so many big things. People are so envious of him. And I feel so sorry for him because he doesn't have a life. He doesn't have a life, really. And he knows he doesn't have a life. And success is there's not one way of succeeding. Success, I believe, is being in alignment with with yourself, what you want to accomplish with yourself, what you want to do for yourself. So it's very important to have your own definition and to define your definition. So success can be for you waking up when you want in the morning. Success can be sleeping more. Success can be so many things. Being with people that are positive. Success can be disconnecting with all the toxic people in your life. You know, success can be so many things because, as Zaina said earlier on, you put yourself first and you pick the things and then you will build your vision for yourself. And that was very powerful what you said, Zainab. I really enjoyed it. Does anyone want to, yes, everybody, I really want more sharing. Anna, Frère, Anna and Rabea and Margaret, Mutemi. Hello, Anna.
Hello, everyone. It was actually very inspiring to listen to a lot of women. I think in the end, many of us are faced with so many challenges every day. You put up a brave face and you always try to show that you're the strong, and sometimes it's actually encouraging to be in a group of people that face the same challenges, that know that sometimes your self-confidence isn't always there, and sometimes you don't always have that maybe the right attitude that gives the sense that you are self-assured. So it's good to hear from other women that they face the same challenges.
Thank you so much, Anna. And what you're saying right now is reminding me of something. And I don't know if you've seen the TEDx of Brené Brown, The Power of Vulnerability. You know, vulnerability is something that we have to embrace. And I invite you to watch it. It's just awesome. It's even on there's the TEDx, but there's a longer version on Netflix. Brené Brown. She is a researcher, psychologist, and she has really done all that work around vulnerability. And she said that when we embrace that vulnerable side of ourselves, we become more authentic and more powerful, because authenticity, we connect with ourselves. And there's a point, I mean, we have all been there to that journey where you want to be the way people want you to be. You want to show up as the world wants you to be. And then you grow into yourself. You grow and realize that you also are not feeling well because you're not being yourselves. And the minute you embrace your authenticity with your vulnerability, your flaws, whoever you are, because who you are, the positive, the negative, then you feel more fulfilled and happier with yourself. Yes, thank you, Nadia, for the TEDx. So it's very important to embrace who we are and embrace that vulnerability, that perfection is not a destination. You know, we're just people in process. We are processes, ongoing processes. Some days you feel happy and some days you just don't want to get out of bed. It's life. The only problem is that you shouldn't be staying in bed for all the days. What matters is at some point getting out of bed and facing life, you know? So it's really, and it's important to have that kind of space where we can discuss and share together, because I believe it's through sharing together that we grow together, and this is the network. the network is more than being in the club. In fact, the network is creating that bond and communicating together and being able to share things like that are quite personal about ourselves, and to remember that at the end, what society wanted us to be, and the 2 last years and COVID has brought back, and I think Jihen is more armed for that. Resilience is back. Resilience is back big time, and we have the right to be broken, but we don't have the right to stay broken. You know, we have to find the tools to rebuild ourselves. And maybe Jihen, you can share with us 1 or 2 things on resilience. I would love to hear from you.
Thank you, Nabou. Just very quickly, mindful of time. Just bouncing back on an idea you said about that powerful question and on fear. I love the question, by the way. There's a lot of things around that. And same here, linking it to my experience this morning. So it's about fear is okay. Like sometimes we don't do something, waiting for the fear to disappear, or waiting for the motivation to come. Once I'm not scared, I will do it, or once I get motivated. And the thing is exactly what you said, Nabou, is about getting in motion. So fear is okay. Let's move with fear. You don't need to wait for fear to disappear. Just do something, move, and think about who do you want to be, rather maybe, and all that, the things that Nabou said at the beginning, in terms of what's your values, who do you want to be rather than what do you want to do, and just take a movement and don't wait for fear, don't wait for motivation. Is really make it a practice. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much, Jihen, for that beautiful sharing. I'm really enjoying the talk. I don't know, Nadia, where we are in the time, but we're just enjoying it, all of us. Let us test timekeeper. Where do we stand?
I mean, we're over time, but yeah. But as you said, it's a nice discussion, I guess, for everyone. So, yeah. Okay, so I don't know if there are some other people. I would love to hear Margaret, Rabea, Muriel, before we leave. We'll go, if we can, and Eva, if we could have a word from you or a message, or if not, then Nadia, I will hand over to you. And I just want to end on that note. What engagement would you take for yourselves in terms of taking care of yourself to enhance and empower yourself and develop your leadership through self-care? We don't think as leadership as a practice of self-care and self-empathy, or as you said, building your resilience or anything, but this is what leadership is, or owning your vulnerability. What engagement, what is the one thing that you, from now on, you will do for yourself? Your engagement, the commitment that you take for yourself. I would love to have few of you say, okay, from today, I will try. I'm not saying that you're going to do it, but at least just the fact of saying it and writing it and having it on a Post-it in front of your computer on the side every day, at some point say, okay, I really have to focus on myself at least once. Caroline, you hear me, right? Yeah. So what is the one practice that you can do? You know, there's so many practices, but you need to choose what works for you. Me personally, I love going to the spa. I'm sorry, but that's my thing. I love any country I go to. I know all the spas of Dubai. I can give you a list of spas in Dubai, in Marrakesh, in Casablanca, in Abidjan, in Dakar. Everywhere I go, I know the spa. So Margaret, thank you, Margaret. I'm going to read Margaret since we have not heard you. Thank you very much for this. This is so deep and profound. I'll be more empathetic to myself and celebrate my wins. This will definitely go to my vision board. Well done, Margaret. Thank you so much for that sharing. It's awesome, and it's very rich and very full of emotion. Thank you so much, Margaret. So this floor is yours, lady. If you want to write your commitment, or if you want to write it for yourself or share it publicly, do really as you feel. But make sure that you keep it in mind that you have to commit to yourself to taking care of yourself and taking a step forward for, like Zaina said, me first, and then the world will be yours, and you will lead accordingly. Your leadership will explode just because you have put yourself in priority.
Thank you so much. Olaides, I will make sure of not being afraid of the public. I really have to work on it. Thank you, Olaide. Look at all those beautiful women with the smiles, and Zeina is so pensive.
Non, Nabou, je voulais savoir quelle était la question. Je suis désolée. Mais tu sais, je faisais comme ça pendant toute ma scolarité. Hein. Les profs pensaient que je cherchais. Non, je comprenais juste pas la question.
Tu vas tuer. Alors, en fait, la question, c'est quel est l'engagement que tu prends pour toi, toi-même, une pratique que tu peux rajouter à ce que tu fais déjà pour prendre soin de toi, pour te mettre en priorité. Quelle est la chose, ne serait-ce qu'une pratique, un engagement que tu peux prendre personnellement? Was this translating?
Je pense que le plus important et le plus difficile, c'est pas de trouver le temps de se faire un brushing, tu vois, de s'habiller, etc. Pas le temps. Mais de se reconnecter avec qui on est. Son enfant intérieur, tu vois, JN, tu vois, c'est qui on est. Qui on est vraiment. Tu vas parfois dépenser beaucoup d'argent, que tu dis, tiens, la tendance à la mode, c'est les pantalons larges, machin et tout. Ça te va pas, mais tu vas quand même les acheter. Donc, tu vas déclencher, tu vas dépenser de l'argent, ça te va pas, t'es ridicule. Alors que t'es pas comme ça. Qui es-tu toi-même? Mais c'est comme au boulot. On va te demander de faire un job, une tâche, c'est pas à toi de le faire. Et pourtant, tu dis oui.
Ouais.
Tu voudrais ce poste-là, on te dit non, tu n'as pas les compétences, etc. Mais pourtant, tu les as. Mais sauf que l'autre a peut-être quelque chose en plus, ou toi, on te refuse quelque chose. Enfin, tu ne comprends pas. Il faut s'affirmer et savoir qui on est, se reconnecter avec soi-même. Si moi, je suis quelqu'un qui a un profil assez, je sais pas moi, assez ferme, assez, je sais où je vais, j'ouvre toujours ma bouche quand j'ai envie de dire non. Pratique-le tous les jours. Tu dis non à ton mari s'il pense que c'est l'heure de déjeuner, il faut que tu te lèves de ton travail pour aller préparer à déjeuner. Pourquoi moi? Pourquoi pas toi? Préparer le linge, faire le ménage, enfin, tu vois, le partage des tâches, subir des choses, alors qu'en réalité, tu devrais dire non. Mais tu te laisses faire. Et c'est comme ça dans le boulot, c'est comme ça dans la vie, avec les copines. Tu vas fréquenter des gens qui sont toxiques, comme tu disais tout à l'heure. Il faut savoir dire non, dégager ces gens-là, ou dégager aussi de son job quand ça ne convient plus, et ne pas subir. Qui tu es, montre-le tous les jours, et va vers ça. Moi, quand j'écoute Beyoncé, par exemple, je me dis, waouh, quelle énergie cette nana. Et tu prends vachement d'énergie positive. Bon, je ne vais pas aller sur scène en bikini. Hein. Je ne peux pas chanter en anglais, donc j'aurai un problème. Mais...
Zeina, Nadia needs to translate before you go forward. Nadia, il faut que tu traduises pour que les autres puissent comprendre.
Oui.
Yeah, sorry. So I'll try. I try to remember all what you said. But basically, sorry. So Zaina was saying the most important is to reconnect with yourself. So be true to yourself. So if you want to say no to something, like for instance, she was giving an example of if her husband tell her, listen, now it's the time to eat, and she just says no, but just say no because you don't want to eat right now, just as an example. Don't follow also the fashion, just because now the fashion is to wear large pants, but it doesn't suit you. You will just spend money and look like not nice. You won't look nice to yourself, beautiful to yourself. So these are the type of examples. And then she was saying, for instance, when she looked at Beyonce, sorry, now I have to translate this part. If you look at Beyonce and she's nice on the scene, and with her beautiful bikini and moving around, and Zaina was saying, well, she gives me, she's optimistic and stuff, and she brings good energy, good vibes to Zaina, but Zaina won't go on the scene and wear the same bikini, and because she doesn't speak English yet that well, she won't be able to do that. Voilà. So that's what she was saying. So, yeah.
mais vous savez, moi, par exemple, je fais un job, je travaille, ça fait bientôt 4 ans. J'aime pas ce que je fais. Voilà, j'aime pas ce que je fais. J'ai décidé de montrer ma propre structure, mon propre projet. Ça prend un peu de temps, mais je vais vers ce que j'ai envie, c'est-à-dire être ma propre patronne. Ne plus dépendre de quelqu'un, ne plus subir d'ordre. Chacun a des talents, chacun sait faire quelque chose. Il faut le mettre en action, tu vois. Donc, si tu as envie d'être indépendante, sois indépendant. Il faut prendre des risques. Hein. Je pense que dans la vie, il faut prendre des risques. Quoi. Voilà.
And then Zaina was saying also that she is doing a job now for almost 4 years, but she doesn't really enjoy her job that much. And she decided to become an entrepreneur because that's what she wanted to do. And that she said it's very important to take risks. It takes also some time, but take risk and be true to yourself again and make it happen, in other words. So yeah, thank you, Zaina.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you. Muriel said, thanks a lot for this. I will listen more to my intuition and take the time to meditate every day. Anna said, I'm at crossroads. I need to make a critical decision tomorrow on my professional direction. This session has reminded me to decide for me. Oh, Anna, this is powerful. Wow. Thank you so much, ladies, for this powerful engagement, this powerful commitment, and your generosity for sharing with us. It was awesome. And Jihan said, thank you, Nabou, and all the ladies. Great deep sharing and awesome energy to keep in motion. Thank you so much. And looking forward to meet you whenever. I think we're Nadia, even though if she doesn't plan it, I'm planning it for her. The Business Club Africa Summit somewhere we will all meet, maybe in Dubai or somewhere. I decided it now for her, so that we can enjoy ourselves. The men will be welcome, Abdulaziz, don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you very much for Abdulaziz for being there the whole time, just with ladies. Seriously, respect as well.
Thank you for having me. It was a delight. Sincerely.
You.
And I learned a lot of things. Thank you, Nabou, for this wonderful presentation. And thank you, Nadia, for coordinating this event. This is an honor. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And thanks a lot, very much, really. Thanks so much, Nabou, for sharing all those precious insights, and also for all of you participating and sharing, also some very personal things. So I think this is just the beginning. So don't hesitate. And we will share, of course, have a replay of the session. Or stay tuned and hope to see you soon. And we keep in touch and network and meet again. And as Nabou was saying, we will plan a Business Club Africa Summit. Lead your way, lead yourself, lead people and lead organizations, as Nabou was saying earlier. And all the best.